Verily, you follow the avenue deeper into the black heart of Cove. This cobbled street, beslimed with nameless refuse, winds its way between mountainous pile of rubble and derelict dwellings. You reach
I hereby name you Bob.
What?
He said that the goo was nameless, so I just named it Bob.
Oh!
Aha.
Okay, so the nameless trash is now named Bob. Hi, Bob. You reach a square where you see huge scarlet flames roaring skyward from a vent in the ground. The flames fill the air with intermittent flashes of blood-red light and billowing clouds of sooty smoke. Shadows play upon the surrounding walls, cast not only by the fire, but also by the winged crone, which swoop back and forth across the section of the city. You are watching the crone diving and twisting above the rooftops, when suddenly your senses alert you to an imminent danger. You sense a troop of Gyaks approaching along the avenue towards your hiding place. Would you do you wish to avoid them by entering one of the buildings that border the square, or to avoid them by getting away from the square?
Maybe entering the building, since it may sound abandoned. But then again, we have no idea what is actually hiding in there.
What do you say, Warlord?
I would say just try to get away from the square. Because like Rhino said, we don't know what's actually inside the buildings.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, we try and get out of the street. Square.
You enter a street bordering the square and move quickly towards a junction in the far distance. All the while you keep to the shadows to minimize the risk of being seen by those lurking in the ruins yet. Unfortunately, you neglect the crone that are circling above. As you reach the junction and turn the corner, 3 of these flying spawn come swooping down out of the smoky sky to batter you with their claw-tipped wings. Twice you're knocked down before you manage to draw your weapon and fight back. You're now fighting 3 Cove crones.
Delightful.
Yep. But because you are now capable of fighting multiple opponents with psychic energy at once, you may double the bonus from your Kai Surge. No, not just Kai Surge. From any psychic power in this combat. So what's the bonus you get for psychic power?
Let me see. Bonus for psychic power. Let me see.
Wasn't that 8?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, you wrote it down, right? Under the combat skill?
Yeah, under combat skill, let me see. Mind Blast, yep. Yes, that should be it, let me see. Mind Blast, yeah, it says Mind Blast plus 3, and then weapon skill. No, not weapon skill. Okay, I think I oversaw a skill to add down to combat skill as total.
What do you mean overlooked?
Overlooked, yeah.
Not this again. Rana, once we are done with the Kai law, the Kai series, I'm not saying this to be insulting or anything, but I'm never letting you handle a schedule or writing down notes or anything like that ever again! Okay?
Okay, I need to be honest. I could take the message, but you do not need to yell.
It's just kind of frustrating, you know.
Does Neff need to yell?
I mean, how many times have we had to go back and look stuff up because you forgot to write it down the first 3 times I told you?
A lot of times.
Exactly. So can you forgive me for being just a tad bit frustrated with it?
Of course, otherwise it would probably have gone already, but yeah. You are forgiven. And so I hope I am after I correct this.
Right, but can anyone support my memory that the bonus you got from the psychic skill you had on always was 8? Am I remembering correctly?
I don't know, I just sort of trusted that Varna would have it written down.
Me too.
Be right back, people. And we are back. Finally figured out how everything fit together. Right, okay. Roll the die, given here.
As you wish. 4.
Right. One of the wing crones descend upon you, and lashes out at you with its sharp claws, nicking you for 2 points of damage. You in return lash out with your sword and deliver a grievous cut to one of its sides. Roll it again.
5.
Right. The crone turns in the air and dives once more, but you are prepared. You stand still and lift your sword and use its own momentum against it, carving it open as it passes by, spilling its guts all over the streets.
Seriously, we couldn't take more, be a little more considerate to the street cleaners of this city.
Considering how the streets were described, I don't think they have those.
Oh,
In any case, despite your best effort, you were still nicked this time, so you lose another 2 endurance points. Roll it again.
2.
Right, 2. One of the other crones descend upon you. And buffets you with its powerful wings, sending you flying back into a scrap heap. You lose 3 endurance points. Then you jump forth and stab the beast in its gut. It screeches in pain. Roll it again.
6.
Right. With a powerful slash of your sword, you chop the beast's head off. And turn around to face its companion, but a little too late. You try to throw yourself out of the way as the beast dives, but it's managed to scratch you. You lose 1 endurance point.
Oh well, 5.
Right. It rises up into the air, turns and descends, charging you against you. You raise your blade and carve a deep, bleeding wound into its flank, but its clawed foot hits you in the stomach, and you're knocked to the ground, gasping for air. You lose. You said 2, didn't you?
I said 5.
Oh, 5. Oh, last time was 2. Okay, you lose 2 endurance points. Alright, roll a die.
6.
Right. The creature turns in the air and charges at you, diving through the air, and crashes into you with all its might. You both land in a heap on the ground. You slightly winded, having lost 1 endurance point from the crash. The creature dead from having your sword impaled into its brain. You have won. Right, so now you lose the bonus and are down to 47 combat skill again.
Yes.
Well, that ain't bad.
Nope. Bloodied and battered, you struggle to disentangle yourself from the bodies of the slain crone. Their deaths have scared the Confederates who are... Their deaths have scared their Confederates. Is that another word for pals?
No, that would be confidants. Confederates is something else. It's how you... is what you use for people who come from a confederacy.
Okay, so crones come from a confederacy now.
Okay,
Interesting.
I'll write that down.
It's a Confederate army.
Who are now flying from their quarters of the city, shrieking and cawing in alarm and dismay. Once free, you stumble off the street into the relative safety of the ruins, where you find an ideal hiding place. It is concealed from the sky by an upper story, and it commands an unobstructed view of a deserted plaza. Its only means of approach. Here,
What? It commands
it commands an unobstructed view of a deserted plaza.
How does it command a view?
I don't know, okay? I just read this shit.
This is really weird. Is it frowning too, or was that just the outer wall?
It's just the outer wall.
Oh.
Any case, here you rest while you consider your next course of action. Restore 2 endurance points. During your rest, unless you possess the discipline and grand hunt mastery, you must eat. So you just find something in this dismal downs and shove it down your throat.
Ooh, lizard!
Ooh, corpse of a crone. I'm sorry, but the word crone makes me think of an old lady.
Your rest is disturbed by the sudden arrival in the plaza of a score of battle-weary Giaks, some Drakarim, and a Gurgas who is nursing a wounded arm. I trust you remember what a Gurgas is.
Nope!
Giant lizard people.
Oh,
Oh, that guy!
Yep. You watch them.
One of them in the first book.
Yep. You watch them make camp and notice that they are so fatigued that they neglect to post any sentinels. Or sentries, sorry. The pile of smoke which has covered the section of the city begins to thin out. In the middle distance you can see the base of the great citadel. It is a truly awesome sight, a pyramid of jet black stone which rises to a needle-sharp peak more than 10,000 feet above the streets of Kog.
I have a question.
Yes?
What does a pile of smoke look like?
A pall of smoke.
Oh, well that's different.
Soon a rickety wooden cart, drawn by two ugly ox-like creatures in harness, trundles into the plaza. It halts, and its Giak driver pulls back the tarpaulin which is covering its cargo, revealing hunches of grey-green meat stacked in a pile. Unceremoniously, he tosses them to the exhausted soldiers who devour them with obvious relish. It is an unwholesome sight. Made even more so when you realize that what they're eating is freshly slaughtered Giak meat.
Wait, aren't some of them Giaks?
Yep.
Oh, they're cannibals.
Yep. Because they're evil.
Well, are the people feeding them in the very least?
Yeah. The troops have almost finished their grisly meal when a figure clad in flowing grey robes and a helm of brightly polished steel swoops down from out of the brooding sky. So the buildings are frowning and the sky is brooding. Everyone here is just so evil. Upon the back of a slant beast.
Next thing you know, we will run into a smiling clock tower. Or a crying clock tower, maybe.
He screams orders to the Gurgas, who immediately responds by cursing and slapping his tired troops into line. That's a fun imagery. The Grey Rider berates the sorry-looking squad before finally taking to the skies once more. Stung into action by his harsh words, the Gurgas officer leads his unit away at the double. Curiosity prompts you to follow them, although you take care to remain hidden from view. They zigzag through a maze of back streets before arriving at the approach road to a large hall. Here, a pitched battle is taking place between two warring factions, one side wearing uniforms of orange cloth, the other clad in blue-green. For several minutes you observe the carnage taking place as the two groups fight for control of the hall. The fighting soon escalates to the surrounding ruins, and wisely you decide it's best to leave the area before you too become caught up in the fighting. You notice a road away to your right which leads directly to the citadel. It is virtually deserted and seems to offer the best escape route from the battle zone. You have covered barely 100 yards when you are suddenly confronted by a unit of Drakarim Death Knights, reinforcement freshly arrived from the citadel itself. Quickly you dive into the side street and run as fast as you can, but the Death Knights have seen you and, despite their heavy armor, they give chase determinedly. The street soon ends at the junction where two roads branch away, one to the left, the other to the right. Do you wish to use Hunt Mastery?
Yeah.
Your Magnicast senses warned you that the left road leads to a dead end. Without hesitation you turn right and take off along the street at a steady pace. Although the Death Knights are hot on your heels, you are confident that you will soon outrun them. However, your confidence is severely shaken when you see that the way ahead is blocked by a hill of rubble, the remains of a collapsed watchtower. Do you wish to use Hunt Mastery?
Yes!
You race across the mound of jagged rubble, barely slowing your stride as you surmount this obstacle easily. The pursuing Death Knights, handicapped by their weighty armor and lack of special skills, can only watch in astonishment as you disappear from view. The street continues beyond the mound, heading due south towards the great citadel, the shadow of this edifice looming even larger. Soon the street opens out to a wide concourse which encircles the citadel and offers access to its great northern door. The entire door is made of black iron and streaked with rust. Turrets jut from either side, on top of which you see giant cannon-like weapons, similar to those once employed by the Dark Lords aboard their ironclad fleets.
So they're not cannons, they're just cannon-like.
Apparently, there's also a picture.
Okay, let's see them then.